Phu Bai, Sacred Holy Land, Part 2, English translation of Phu Bai Thien Dia Hu Lin. P2. Ladies and gentlemen, uncles and relatives. 2 verses. Phu Bai Thien Dia Hu Lin. Troi Lin Giu Kot, Dat Lin Nuoi Hun. Phu Bai, Sacred Holy Land. Holy skies maintains its structure, holy land feeds its soul. It is not a fanciful concept of spirituality, but rather real historical events that have been shown due to the structure of heaven and earth in this region, through the combination and harmonization of the laws of transformation, movement and activities, of visible and metaphysical objects, and invisible phenomena in the universe, are evolving sequentially over time, and in sufficient conditions. Ladies and gentlemen, uncles and relatives. Talking about the Earth Spirit, in the 16th century, Dr. Duong Van raised a key idea as follows. Talent is forged by geomancy. Earth is discovered by talent. Phu Bai land about 400 years ago, appeared special talents such Go Tu Hoi Tu, also known as Go Fuk Tu. He was a great mandarin of the 4 royal posts under the reigns of Lord Nguyen Phuc Tan, Nguyen Phuc Tai, and Nguyen Phuc Chu. In addition to the great official position of the court, he was also a Zen teacher, master of the 5 riches, the 4 sutras, understanding of yin and yang, and the 5 elements. In particular, he also understood about the transformation of all visible objects and invisible phenomena in the universe. The second character is Merle Tri Hoi Nia. He is a martial arts general with high martial arts. He served under Lord Nguyen Phuc Tan, and was assigned the task of commanding the guard squad, protecting the security of the Lord's barracks. So he was named General Guardian of the city. He taught martial arts to the soldiers and subordinates, so he was later named General Manager of the city's guard, Patriarch La Dai Lang. Ladies and gentlemen, relatives, and friends, there is a Vietnamese proverb that says, Sin vi tuong, tu vi than. Birth is vigor, horoscope of God. That is, when he lived as a general, he commanded 3 armies in battle, fought against the enemy, and defended the country's shores, mountains, and rivers. When they die, they will become the guardian gods of the village. So they are called godly emperor. The background and career of Lord Go Tu Hoi Tu and La Tri Hoi Nia also met the above conditions, so after death, the person was conferred the title of Bon Tho Than Hoang. The other was conferred as the participant of the God of God. After their death, they left a high positive electromagnetic current, circulated in the sky of Phu Bai village, and will combine and exchange with some electromagnetic currents of descendants with the same system strata and form. That is the proof to interpretation of the meaning of God's spiritual nourishment. As for Mr. Go Fuk Tu, in addition to the great official position under the Nguyen Phuc Tan, Nguyen Phuc Tai, Nguyen Phuc Chu, he is also a Taoist Zen master. So he has sublime and magical magic, if we do not learn, study, learn about the laws of operation and transformation of invisible phenomena in the universe combined with new discoveries of science in the 21st century. We cannot explain and demonstrate these phenomena. This is probably the reason that for nearly 400 years, when it comes to the temple to worship the God of God in Phu Bai village, it is extremely epiphany, which everyone abstains. Even some people are afraid, because of the effects of events. Spiritual events happened, but unfortunately at that time, science was not as developed as it is today, to explain and prove. Like the strange story about Mr. LHS happened at the temple of Mr. Bon Tho in 1992, which I mentioned in the last video Phu Bai Thien Dia Hu Lin Part 1. Dear brothers and sisters, relatives, in our video of Phu Bai village past and present, published in May 2019, the strange story of Mr. LHS has been explained and proven by us in many videos and articles, so we do not repeat. There are only 2 stories that we have not proven, which are The first is the story of February 1951. A company of French Mandarin soldiers whose headquarters were stationed at my grandmother's church in Village 1, Phu Bai Village, Tui Phu Commune. The next morning, they started their march very early. Where they went is not clear. As usual, they did not return in the evening, but that day they returned very early, but did not see the two company captains. At that time, I was studying, next to the percussion horse that my uncle was drinking tea. I overheard the story of the same team who was from Phu Bai Cow village at that time. He was the squad leader, belonging to the company. He above mentioned Stork Doi Kung told my uncle as follows. Uncle, the temple of Bon Tho Than Hoang village is too spiritual. Today, your company has an order to march against the Trong Mo's Viet Minh Company, which is stationed behind the village hall. Just arrived outside the city. The company captain immediately ordered the 60th mortar gunner to put his gun next to the corner of the citadel, close to the tree to shoot at the back of the palace. According to the practice of the 60th mortar, it shoots an arc, so it is necessary to choose a place for the party. However, I don't know why the other gunner aimed at the branch of the tree to shoot. Broke the branch, fell and hit the captain's arm, seriously wounding him, and the unit had to withdraw, give up the march. I don't know if this gunner was hit in the eye by something at that time, but was blinded to shoot like that. But the 60th mortar gunner is the core force of the unit, so it has been trained very carefully, so it can't happen so carelessly. The second case was in 1967. An American soldier was injured outside the village hall. Another ran in front of the temple to cut a branch of a porcelain tree to make a hammock of the injured person. The branch was not cut but cut into the arm. Was this soldier running away in fear? Perhaps something blinded them? At that time it was just a suspicion. Until 1992, the event that Mr. LHS occurred on July 1, then it was clearly known that it was due to the magic of electromagnetic transmission of Lord Earth, and by the beginning of the 21st century, it was deciphered by science and proved to be the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, in the Great Village Phu Bai video, we mentioned that the gods of Phu Bai village have contributed to perfecting the spiritual truth because modern science in the 21st century has revealed that truth. For example, the case of transferring electricity through space is done according to the process of combining the living and the dead to affect a third person next to him and be able to paralyze that person's body so that they can understand themselves. The human soul is an electric current, and the spirit of the Holy Spirit is a positive electric current. The second phenomenon is the electronegative electron combined with the positive electric photon, so that when human observations are affected by the electric brainwave, to switch from invisible phenomena to visible such as sounds, images, etc., text or video, presented directly through the lens of people for them to act. Both cases mentioned above happened in 1992 through descendants of Phu Bai villagers. The second case is the contribution of Mr. Du Bon Tho Than Hoang of the village, Mr. La Tri Hoi Nia. He is a martial arts general, very strong martial arts, so when he died, he left behind a positive charge of electromagnetic energy. And this electromagnetic system is sympathetically combined with its descendants having the same formation and properties. A special thing is that Mr. Tri's residual electromagnetic system often circulates around the land and sky in his tomb area, because that electromagnetic flow is always being held, cherished by the pure electromagnetic part in the bones, his burial ground is well suited for long-term preservation of the body, which has been discovered, through my experience with the times of communicating with him. This experiment is deployed based on the following scientific principles. A is my brainwave emitting into space. B is the residual electromagnetic wave of my ancestor after death. C is the pure electromagnetic system in the skeleton of my ancestor. A has the same stratum and sympathomimetic pattern as B. B has the same stratum and Bran relationship with C, therefore A is qualified to sympathize with C. This discovery and detection is based on the regular principles of science. To explain and prove the difference between cremation and cremation, to protect the cremation custom in Vietnamese culture in the past and present, still has practical value and is consistent with modern science of the 21st century. This event, we have explained and demonstrated with 3 videos with the title, Difference Between Cremation and Cremation from a Scientific Perspective, Modern Studies Part 1, Part 2 and Part 3, published in 2020. We think this is also an extremely great contribution of our first patriarch of the La family to the new discovery of science in the spiritual field, through communication and communication to descendants. Ladies, gentlemen, relatives, the story of the 2 Mr. Bon Tho Than Hoang and Du Bon Tho Than Hoang of Phu Bai village are 2 very special human gods. In addition, Phu Bai village also has a god of the form. This person has made sympathies with his descendants to teach them to explain and prove the Buddhist law of reincarnation and causation according to the principle of absolute uniformity and difference, two-way, non-contradiction, and resistance according to the laws of operation and transformation of invisible phenomena in the universe. For example, when 2 bodies, male and female, perform the task of creating a new being according to the genetic system, in that space environment, a certain residual electromagnetic current penetrates the respiratory tract of a person. Female, then merge with the flesh and blood of the new being from the beginning of creation, to adulthood, and degenerate. That individual's living being, is always governed by this additional augmented electrification system. This is also a completely new discovery according to modern science. This is also an extremely great contribution to the unfoldment of spiritual truth that science has deciphered. Ladies and gentlemen, uncles and relatives, for the above reasons. So, on July 10, 2022, my husband and I, and the husband and wife of Go Phuoc Trung, with a sincere heart, pay respects to ancestors of Go, La, Nguyen, and founding ancestor. At the same time, respectfully report to you that after 30 years of research, study, and research, we have been able to explain and prove the invisible phenomena that happened in Phu Bai village during the 1992 period, based on 21st century science. At the same time, we also ask your permission that it is time to rely on the official source of national history, along with exhibits and eyewitnesses, to shed light on the history of your painting. To support the research work, Go Phuoc Trung's family donated 100 million VND, 100 million Vietnamese dongs, and our family also donated 100 million VND, 100 million Vietnamese dongs. With the amount of 200 million dong, we feel that it is temporary enough to serve the research work to complete the village history in the first step. In addition, Go Phuoc Trung's family also donated 100 million dong to repair the temple of Bon Tho Than Hoang, the second founder of Phu Bai village, which is currently damaged and leaking water in a small corner. Ladies and gentlemen, relatives, as I have shared many times, I myself am a servant of 2 Mr. Bon Tho Than Hoang and Du Bon Tho Than Hoang from 1992 to now, for 30 years. Thanks to that, I know get some negative and positive village history events, which we have covered in many videos and articles over the past few years. Dear uncles, relatives, during the last visit to Phu Bai hometown, when we came to worship at Mr. Tung Bon Tho's temple and visited Tan Phai's temple, I was fortunate to have a sympathetic approach to her, according to principles that I have repeatedly explained and demonstrated, especially in the sympathies. I asked her for some specific spiritual symbols to demonstrate. For example, within 3 days, there will be a heavy rain in the rich village. And she told me in my ear that in the afternoon there will be heavy rain in Fubai village. I also told some relatives standing next to me. But unexpectedly that afternoon it was raining heavily. So there were a few uncles, relatives who were both happy and emotional, so they burst into tears. Why such a strange phenomenon? I will share next time. Today we would like to upload some pictures, along with a few videos that we captured with cell phones, so the image is not adjusted and beautiful. We are in contact with Dr. Tran Dinh Hang and 2 of his friends in the National Institute of Culture and Arts of Vietnam in PHU, to ask them for some pictures that we have asked them to help, which will definitely help. Pretty. Whenever you have these pictures, if you have any needs, please contact Two Tone, they will be sent to you. Finally, I wish you, your uncles, relatives, and relatives abundant health. And all the best of luck. Best regards. Phu La and Phuong Go. USA August 16, 22.